Hello people, my name is Parichay and you are watching CredR. Today I have for you the BMW Motorrad R18 cruiser bike. In this video we are going to check out what is so special in this limited edition R18 first edition cruiser bike. How different is it compared to the standard R18? कैसा है इस बाइक का परफॉर्मेंस? Is this bike going to keep you happy on your weekend rides? This is a very unique cruiser here in the Indian market and also sold globally. This is a rival to the likes of Harley Davidson's, but BMW Motorrad has their own take to this cruiser format. So before we talk everything about the design, the features and the overall riding experience, first let's listen to the exhaust note. This 1800cc big boxer engine has a distinct character unlike any other motorcycle which you can buy on planet Earth. So check this out. Very unique, very distinct and so full of character. If you like old school motorcycling and if you have all the big bucks to bring home something exclusive, this R18 first edition is definitely the bike for you, because eventually this is going to become a collector's piece. Now let's talk about the design and features of this R18 first edition. If you are planning to buy the R18, the standard model will cost you 19,90,000 rupees ex-showroom. But if you want to buy this, the R18 first edition, this model will cost you 22,55,000 ex-showroom. Paying tribute to the R5 model from 1936, the BMW Motorrad R18 cruiser that we have today is distinct from whichever angle you look at it. There is no missing the fact that this is a big boxer engined BMW cruiser bike, and it has a lot of character and it has fantastic road presence. Now what we have with us today is the BMW Motorrad R18 first edition variant. इस वेरिएंट के साथ आपको काफ़ी ज़्यादा क्रोम मिल रहा है. There is just a lot of bling all around on this motorcycle. So let me just highlight where do you get this excess chrome. So you are going to get chrome plating on the front engine cover. You will see it on the gear shift lever. You will also notice it on the front brake and clutch levers and on the brake oil reservoirs on the handlebar. The mirrors are in chrome. The front brake calipers are in chrome, and also the rear brake caliper is in chrome. All of this is not available on the standard R18. Talking about other features exclusive to this R18 first edition, you get the first edition badge on the side panel. You get a badge on the premium seat of this motorcycle, and also you get white double pinstriping on the tank and on the rear wheel cover, which gives this bike a unique identity. Now there is also some extra kit that you get if you buy this first edition cruiser, such as hill start control, headlight pro, adaptive headlights and daytime riding lights with the first edition pack. अगर आप ये BMW Motorrad R18 cruiser खरीदने वाले हो, this bike is going to come with 3 years standard warranty. When you look at this motorcycle for the first time, you cannot deny that this is a big motorcycle. This has phenomenal street presence and street cred. This bike is definitely going to turn heads. So when you're spending more than 20 lakh rupees on a motorcycle, you can be assured that people will look at you when you are riding this R18 first edition. Talking about the features of this motorcycle, you get a round LED headlamp with a chrome bezel. The LED tail lamp has been integrated in the rear turn indicators, and the turn indicators also get a chrome casing. You have a very good looking fishtail exhaust which is completely done up in chrome, and it just adds so much of character to this motorcycle's side profile. The engine cylinder heads, by the way, also get chrome, and the engine casing is not at all subtle. This bike likes to shout out that it is making use of a 1800cc motor. On the fuel tank, the BMW logo is pretty old school and fits the part, fits the bill with the design DNA of this motorcycle. On the teardrop shaped fuel tank of this motorcycle, you get a chrome fuel filler cap. लेकिन fuel filler cap के लिए आपको कोई भी lock mechanism नहीं मिल रहा है. But to lock and unlock the handlebar, you will have to make use of the physical key of this bike. Even though इस bike के साथ आपको keyless operation मिल रहा है, so you don't necessarily have to use your key to start the engine. You can just leave it in your pocket. The first edition model had this very nice single piece contoured seat, offered me good comfort, and it was nice and supportive throughout my ride. The speedometer cluster on this motorcycle is a part digital part analog unit. Speedometer cluster के digital display area में आपको information मिलती है जैसे कि gear position indicator, trip meters, odometer, you have a clock, you have your digital RPM displayed over here as well. And there is just all the information that you require from a motorcycle in the modern day and age. To toggle between this information, you get a button on the left hand side, switch gear, and you also have a button over here which will allow you to toggle between the modes that this bike has to offer. Talking about riding modes, इस bike के साथ आपको rain, rock और roll riding modes मिलने वाले हैं. You can notice that with this R18 you are getting a hardtail kind of a design, but the rear monoshock is hidden under the rider seat. The front suspension is a telescopic fork with fork sleeves, and you get total of 120 millimeters of suspension travel at the front end and 90 mm of suspension travel from the cantilever suspension at the rear end. And now the most important bit. How does this bike perform with this massive 1800cc engine? Powering the BMW Motorrad R18 first edition cruiser motorcycle is a 1802cc air oil cooled 2-cylinder 4-stroke boxer engine. This is the biggest boxer engine BMW Motorrad has plonked on a street legal motorcycle. This engine produces 91 HP at 4750 rpm and 158 Newton meters of torque at 3000 rpm. BMW Motorrad claims that this bike can achieve a top speed of more than 180 km per hour. Now, the seat height is 690 mm, and the biggest talking point of this bike is also the curb weight. ये जो R18 motorcycle है, ready to ride, it has an unladen weight of 345 kilograms, making it very, very heavy. But let me tell you, once you start riding this motorcycle, this weight is very well masked. Until and unless you are really making sharp U-turns, you will not feel this weight, and you will be swinging along and singing along with this motorcycle happily on your weekend rides. इस बाइक के साथ आपको एक 16 लीटर फ्यूल टैंक मिल रहा है, and there is approximately 4 liters of reserve fuel capacity. This bike rides on a 19-inch front wheel and a 16-inch rear wheel. Now, when you start riding this motorcycle, if you are new to such a motorcycle format, I would suggest that you start your journey with the rain mode on this motorcycle. Rain mode में throttle input जो है वो काफ़ी mellow down हो जाता है, and this bike becomes very, very understandable. But if you are an experienced rider and you know how to manage all of this weight, I would suggest that you ride it in rock mode all the time. In rock mode, the power output and torque output is insane as per such a cruiser format, and you will be surprised how fast this bike accelerates even with all that weight. It just drags you till the time it reaches its top speed. When you whack the throttle, the seat, the scooped single piece seat, actually holds on to your body, it holds on to your butt and pushes you forward, because with this cruiser format, you are thrown behind when you are heavy on throttle input. With this motorcycle, you get a 6-speed gearbox with an anti-hopping clutch. The clutch operation is acceptable, not too heavy, not too light, and the gearbox also works quite well. But there is a noticeable clunk which you get to hear every time you shift gears. Overall, it is a pleasant experience. When you are riding this bike in a sedate fashion, आपको exhaust note जो है वो ज़्यादा सुनाई नहीं देता है, but when you open up the throttle, that exhaust rumble is clearly audible even inside your helmet. What really surprised me and left me impressed was the heat management. Now, with air oil cooling, this big twin-cylinder machine did not heat up as much as I expected. It was quite a pleasant ride throughout my review ride experience. So in terms of performance, I think that this R18 will meet or exceed the demands of a cruiser buyer.
Next, we have to talk about how comfortable is this motorcycle, what are the ergonomics like, and can you spend hours on the saddle on this big R18 cruiser.
Now, although this BMW R18 is a cruiser motorcycle, you do not get the typical feet forward riding position. Of course, you cannot get that because of this big engine, because of this big boxer engine. You have almost center set foot pegs, but the riding posture, although unique for cruisers, it is quite comfortable, and I had no problems staying on the saddle for hours. I shuttled between Mumbai-Pune and Pune-Mumbai, and I was completely happy with this motorcycle. The only aspect which might make you uncomfortable is that every time you want to make a U-turn, your hands will be stretched from end to end, so you have to keep that in mind. Overall, in terms of seating ergonomics, this motorcycle is quite a unique flavor for the cruiser buyer. कंफर्ट के बारे में अगर बात करें तो इस बाइक के साथ जो आपको सिंगल पीस सीट मिल रही है, it accommodates your bottom quite well, but the ride quality of this R18 is bone jarring. It is super duper stiff and you are going to feel all the undulations all the time. Even the bridge gaps are going to leave you unsettled. So if you want to ride this bike fast, मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा that you understand the way this bike handles itself and then push it to its maximum limit. When you're riding this bike hard, the tires will offer good grip, and the comforting bit is that the stopping power is competent. If you only use the front brake lever, the motorcycle will also make use of the rear brakes to help you slow down this big heavy machine easily and confidently.
So guys, tell me, what is your opinion about this BMW Motorrad R18 Cruiser? क्या आपको ये बाइक स्पेशल लगी? Do you think this bike justifies the price tag? When you are going to spend such big bucks on a motorcycle, it has to look unique, it has to be distinct, and in my opinion, this is very unique here for the cruiser segment. If you have any other queries, do ask me. I will try my best to help you out. Subscribe to the CredR channel, press that bell icon, always ride safe, always wear your helmets, and follow speed limits.